This is the Bolder Than Most podcast, where we talk with those making bold moves in business, real estate, and life. I'm your host, Trae Jacobs. Thank you for being here. Let's jump right in. All right, guys. Welcome back to the Bolder Than Most podcast. My name is Trae Jacobs, and today I got my man Jackson Campbell. And if you don't know Jackson Campbell, he's a great guy. If you do know Jackson Campbell, you know that he's a great guy. But we all have we're all on different journeys, and recently Jackson's had some changes on his journey. So instead of introducing him, my man, could you step up and introduce yourself for the people?
Yes, absolutely. I love how you started that. We all are on different journeys and at different levels of the journey, dude, and different times of the journey, dude. So I love how you started that. So yeah, my name is Jackson Campbell. For those of you that don't know me, if you're listening to Trae, you probably are familiar with the Multifamily Mindset Network and that group. I was a founding member of that community and of that company. I'm very grateful to have spent the first 3 years of that company helping build that company. And it was an incredible opportunity to work next to some incredible people and learn a ton. But yeah, like how Trae said, I've recently separated from that company, kind of walking my own path now, going down my own journey, and I'm very excited to do that. And it's that's who I am. I'm getting into the so in the past, kind of just to give a little background about who I am. I've been doing real estate in some form or another ever since I was a little kid. I got involved in doing fix and flips with my buddy's dad. He would send us to these properties. We would pull up carpet. We would paint walls. We would tear out door jams. We would do the little stuffs on the fix and flips when I was in high school, even is when kind of I got that started. And then that kind of parlayed into working with my uncle, where we would go in and we would do the landscaping of these houses that needed to be flipped. A lot of times they get super, super overgrown. My uncle figured out if he worked with flippers and just kind of helped those individuals flip their yards, he can make just as much money doing a one-time job as he could doing a month contract with somebody. So we kind of got into that. And then from there, I had multiple opportunities through my young adult life to do construction stuff, worked on some multi-million-dollar renovations with some churches and some temples. So I've had a lot of opportunity in the real estate space, even leading up to the opportunity that I had to work with Tyler and Ryan Devereaux with Multifamily Capital Partners and Multifamily Mindset, the apartment side of things, building out their acquisitions company and then the education company on that side, which was acquiring multifamily assets, right, and turning them into
the apartments.
Value add apartment.
I didn't know you started off in the fix and flip space. That's dope, man.
Yeah, dude. Where was that when I was really young? That was I didn't even ask to get involved into that industry. It was just my buddy's dad needed some help and I needed to make some extra money, and kind of was just an opportunity to do some stuff, but it gave me a cool perspective of the opportunity that was there. I grew up in Southern Utah, and in Southern Utah, there was that's one of the booming real estate, or it was when I was growing up, it was like a booming real estate market for this type of stuff, fix and flip. It was just very, very hot market. A lot of families, a lot of new households being created in that market when I was growing up. So there was a lot of opportunity for fix and flip there. So I kind of got a cool perspective of that at a young age, seeing that happen so often. And it was so common.
Yeah. I've watched a few Netflix documentaries that probably took place in Southern Utah. I'll just leave it at that. It's a place down there, bro. Cow. But
yeah, it is. Oh yeah, that's true. Right. On the other side. On the other side of things, yeah, dude. On the other side of things, for sure. That's there's some wild stuff that happens in Southern Utah for sure as well. Yeah, that's hilarious.
Oh boy. All right. Well, before we dive in any deeper, guys, I do want to throw in a quick disclosure, right? In this conversation, there really are no sides. Right? There's no winners. There's no losers. It's not an us versus them situation. There's only people. Like I said, we're all in our different lanes. We all have different circumstances. We're all in different chapters of our life. But with that, I'm sure a lot of people know Jackson for hosting every coaching call, for hosting the podcast, right? Like to a lot of us, he's our uncle, Uncle Jackie.
I love that, dude. That's like sentimental. I mean,
Yeah,
damn,
yeah.
that means thank you. That's such a
No,
compliment to
it's
me.
true. But think about it though, right? Like you host every single call. Like almost every communication that we've had with you or with MFM came through you. Actually,
Yeah.
think about that. Yeah.
For a
So
while, it was like that. There's some other coaches hosting the coaching calls now for sure. But yeah, for a while, I was kind of that median of
yeah.
from what happened in the company to the students for a while. Yeah, through those coaching calls, you're totally
Oh
right,
yeah,
dude. I
man.
kind of was that
And
face.
you were damn good at it too. I mean,
Thanks, man.
shoot. I wish I could control a Zoom call full of 200 people, happy, angry, sad, all the emotions like you did. So yeah, that was really cool to see. Actually, thinking about that, good job. You did a
I
great job,
appreciate,
Jack.
dude. I
You did so
appreciate that,
good.
dude. And
Yeah, man.
what's coincidentally really kind of interesting about that is that was my first introduction to working with Tyler and Ryan. So I had worked with Tyler in some sales situations, but my first opportunity to work with Tyler and Ryan together
Yeah.
was at the very beginning of COVID. We were still doing some seminar stuff for a different seminar company, RE Mentor. We were still like at the very, very beginning of COVID. They were trying to do some virtual events and we were helping them. Like Tyler and Ryan were doing their virtual events, but they needed somebody to come help the virtual side, like man the Zoom calls and make sure everybody was getting the links to the calls and make sure everybody was being
Right.
communicated with properly. And that was actually my introduction to work with them, which was really interesting is doing
Okay.
that for another company. And then from there is kind of where I built the relationship with Ryan because I had already had one from working with Tyler to then
Yeah.
kind of lead into that opportunity. So kind of full circle. It's kind of cool how that happened.
It's cool. So you started in COVID times. That was 2020, right? First employee ever hired with multifamily mindset.
No, it's okay. Let me kind of back up here. Yeah. So I got hired on at the very beginning of COVID with Tyler and Ryan for Multifamily Capital Partners. So for
Okay.
their acquisitions company. But that
Gotcha.
only came because I had taken an opportunity prior to that to work with them in a different aspect. And that other aspect was via Zoom, helping them run some Zoom calls and some virtual stuff for a different company.
Gotcha. Who signed your paychecks? Was it MFCP or MFM?
For which it kind of both
Both.
at the end of the day. Yeah. Cause it's so, yeah, I was receiving compensation from both sides at the end of the day.
So you're getting
Yeah.
paid
Yeah.
twice. My man, double dipping.
Well,
I ain't mad at it.
well, yeah. It wasn't necessarily getting paid twice. It was kind of packaged up into one with the roles and responsibilities that carried over from both sides of both companies.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did. I was definitely, yeah.
What did you do with MFCP? Like, I don't think a lot of people, I mean, I didn't know that you worked with MFCP as well.
Yeah. So at the very beginning, that's what I was doing. Right when I started working with Tyler and Ryan is with MFCP, I was doing a lot, man. It was like Tyler and Ryan had just started scaling their acquisitions company, their multifamily acquisitions company. Pretty much what everybody is trying to do right now, what you're trying to do, what all of the students in MFM are trying to do right now. They were scaling their MFM. They were scaling their multifamily acquisitions company, and they needed some help. And I was available, and I had a relationship with Tyler, and I had worked with Tyler and Ryan, like I've mentioned, in other aspects. And they gave me a phone call, and I started working with them. And it was a very small opportunity at first that turned into something. Obviously, it turned into something life changing. Working with those guys, yeah.
So one could say that you are the reason that these guys are so successful. MFM and MFCP, right? Like you were the kind of, hey guys, my company, Paige Capital Group, is actively sourcing and buying multifamily deals. If you're looking to put your money to work, gain some tax efficiencies, and grow your portfolio while we do all the heavy lifting, go to paigecapitalgroup.com/invest. That's Paige, PAIGE, capitalgroup.com/invest. And someone from our team will reach out. Now, back to the show.
I'm not going to take that credit. Absolutely not. Those gentlemen have put in an immense amount of work, dude. Have I worked really hard towards the mission? For sure. And have they benefited from that? Absolutely, for sure. And I can definitely hang my hat and say that proudly, that I have worked really hard. And a lot of what you see with MFM is due to a lot of my hard work as well. But I can't take him full credit for that. No,
like, I'm not going to say that, but you can.
No way. No way. No way. No way.
Yeah. So basically, long story short, if you are looking to scale a company, get you a Jackson. That's all. Step one, find Jackson.
Dude, I mean, not find me a Jackson, but find you somebody that meshes with you for sure. Like I
Yeah.
just clicked immediately with Ryan and Tyler. We were friends and we could work in a very serious, upfront business way, but we also knew each other on a very personal level too. So it's just something that fit really
Yeah.
well. So like there is a lesson to be learned there for sure.
Yeah, dog. I gotta call Ryan. I gotta write that down. Hit up Ryan. When did Todd come into the picture?
Right before MFM. So he came in, he had always participated in the multifamily capital partner side of things, investing in deals and helping as a passive investor. He came in really to the, what would you say, the operations of things. Yeah, right before we decided to scale with MFM and take off and go down the MFM.
Okay, and he's an owner too, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I believe so. Unless
right.
things have changed. Obviously, there's some ownership changes and things that are happening, and I don't know what's necessarily happened. But yeah,
that's true. That is very true. Okay, what was it like back then in the beginning? Well, I mean, you guys are grinding, right? But
yeah,
I mean, it must have been cool in the beginning stages of a multi-million-dollar, company.
Dude, it was full of abundance and yeah, dude, just grace for one another. If I know that's kind of maybe not the answer you were looking for, but man, we would just work really hard, and a lot of the times we didn't know exactly how we were going to get it back. We were serving the students that trusted us to come on board with MFM and wanted our mentorship and our coaching, that we were just doing everything we could to provide value for those people. And it was amazing. It was it was abundant, and yeah, it was awesome in those beginning days for sure.
Give me like abundance, right? I'm just curious. Can you break that down a little bit further, right? Like how, like you have the students, you have each other, you have, I mean, there's so many other people who are tangential to this whole operation. I mean, how did that abundance affect as many people as possible?
That's a good question. When I think of abundance, dude, I think of giving or providing value or creating opportunity without the expectation of receiving anything in return. And by having that abundant mindset, you always get what it is that you're supposed to get in return. Just by not even thinking about it, by not even putting any energy about what the return is. That's what abundance is to me. So when we would have all these, like, we were an education company, it is an education company. At the beginning of the days, there was a few of us. We were all very new to the space. But as an education company, that's a for-profit company. So I'm sure there were, like, a lot of times in the beginning stages, I'm sure there was a lot of opportunities where we could have upcharged a lot of these services that we were doing for people and a lot of these things that we were doing to help the students, but we didn't. Just because that's how it was, because we didn't know any better, but to be abundant and help and share and to just give and provide value to those that trusted us. Does that make sense?
Bro. Yeah, no, definitely. I like that definition too, right? The giving without expectation that it will be reciprocated. I think it's a really good definition of abundance. Cool, man. I mean, how did you grow personally, professionally, all the above? I mean, not knowing, I mean, I don't want to, from day one to where you are now. Yeah. Sure, you're a completely different person, right?
Oh, dude, very different person. I've grown a ton. I've grown in not only in the skill sets that I've learned, like, you know what I mean, just the business skill sets that you learned being in business for 5+ years. You just learn things and you gain those new tools to add to your tool belt and your tool bag. But I grew also in the sense of my business maturity, I guess, and the importance of relationships and what relationships truly are, and how to cultivate prosperous relationships. So, dude, that's just some of the things that I learned, man. There's so many. It's so hard to say what I've learned and how I've grown. But yeah, man. Yeah, there's been a lot of things that I've grown from it.
So as a student of MFM, right, we talk about building relationships, and those relationships are usually with other students, with operators, and with investors. On the business aspect of MFM, the education company, what relationships were you building, or were there a lot of the same types of relationships I just listed?
A lot of the same types of relationships you just listed. Yeah, for
Okay.
sure. Just those people you're building the company with, and yeah, do within that. Yeah, a lot of those same relationships.
Yeah. I mean, so with the crazy amount of growth that you guys saw, I think with growth comes the opportunity for misalignment or cracks to appear. Did you ever notice any of that from, day one to when you decided to leave?
I mean, sure. Yeah, I mean, sure, dude. I think it was a really big company, and a lot of new people came in, and a lot of perspectives and decisions were made. And I don't think there's probably anybody in that organization that agrees with every single decision that's been made. But that's what a company is, right? It's everybody coming together and making decisions based on what they think as a group is going to be best for the company. And I understand that. And there's so yeah, absolutely. There's times where there was decisions made and things that were definitely misalignment that I didn't agree with, but I trusted in because those were the leaders, they move forward and they make those decisions. So yeah, definitely. But I think, Trae, I know we were kind of talking about this before. I kind of made like an interesting analogy when we had been talking about this before.
Hit me.
I kind of wanted to maybe share that analogy and kind of how I've been thinking about my journey with MFM and Tyler and Ryan and Todd and just kind of how everything has kind of transpired for me personally,
Okay.
right? Because there has been a lot of people that have been asking, what's happened? Where'd you go? What happened? Or there's been a lot of questions that have, what's next? Like, where are you going? Right? There's been a lot of questions. And the way that the perspective that I'm choosing to look at this at, Trae, is very similar to this analogy that I'm going to share of fruit, like fruit trees.
Okay.
Like if you know Jackson, you know that Jackson loves plants. He has plants tattooed on him. He has a ton of plants on his patio in the outside. He's got plants all through his house. He's got a plant here in his office. He loves plants. I just love plants, and I love the analogy that they have that you can that you can compare with life and growth as individuals. So back to the fruit tree. Fruit trees grow, and they grow apple trees, plum trees, apricots, whatever. They grow fruit, but as they grow fruit in bunches. So if you've ever noticed, Trae, out here, even in Hawaii, the papaya trees that spring up, they grow fruit in bunches. And if those bunches aren't tended to or pruned, those fruit never grow. The fruit on the tree they can never grow to their full potential because they're always so bunched up so close next to each other. So I kind of liken my situation as to kind of what's happened with MFM is it grew so fast, man. The company grew so fast. As you know, you were one of our first students. You've seen how fast that company grew. There was just so many good fruit at the top of the tree. I believe that I was one of those good fruit. I just believe that there was so much good that got cultivated in the growth of those companies. That there was just so much fruit at the top of the tree. There's new people coming in that could be considered new fruit that were added up to the top of the tree. And for the way that I wanted to grow and the way that I saw myself growing into the future, I didn't see it happening unfortunately, when trees grow, if they're not pruned, fruit start falling off. Fruit start rotting up on the top and they fall off. Sometimes a storm will come, and because they're all bunched up so tight, they're actually really loose, and it will knock off a ton of the fruit. So other fruit can grow, but those other fruit fall to the ground and rot away, or the seeds plant and grow up and create their own tree with their own fruit. So I kind of liken my situation to that, man. It's like I was up at the top of this tree. There was so many good fruit. And in order for me to grow the way that I see myself growing, I had to get knocked off that tree one way or another. We won't get into the details on how I came off that tree, if I was plucked from the tree, or if a storm did knock me off, or if I was ripped off, or even if I was a bad fruit on top of the tree that fell off. We don't need to get into the details of that. But what I've come to conclusion is it was just time. It was just time for me in order for me to grow into who I believe I'm supposed to be, and to be the best person that I can be, I needed to just sprout my own tree and grow myself.
What does the best you look like?
Good question, man. Good question. I think the best me looks like a grounded, present individual that is in tune with what's going on in his life to be able to make the best decisions and navigate this life the best way possible to benefit himself and those that trust him and love him.
Are you that person now?
I'm always thriving and striving to be, for sure. Not thriving to be, I'm always striving to be. Yeah.
I respect that. What do you, when you get off track, like how do you pull yourself back?
Just the fundamentals, man. Fundamentals. Just the simple stuff. The morning routine, the reading, the pouring into yourself first in order to be your best self.
Yeah.
To provide the
best.
I
honestly, I struggle with that, right? Like the routine, like I always feel like I have way too much stuff going on. And because of that, right? Like sometimes I'll sit down for like 15 minutes and be like, I could be doing something, but I have so many things to do that I don't know which one of them to do, right? And then the whole morning routine, bro, I suck at that. But we're working on it, right? Like you said, grace, and more grace, because I think the best version of me looks a lot like what you just listed, right? Just, the confidence, the grounded, the intuition, right? The ability to follow my heart, my gut, my head, on this journey of life that sometimes has me extremely stressed out. So, if you could go back and do it all over again, would you do anything different?
Dude, that's a good question. It's a hard question, because
that's fair.
Dude, it's a hard question because I choose the perspective of gratitude for everything that's happened, dude. So it's really hard for me to be like, oh, I wish that wouldn't have happened when I've like already looked back at everything and I'm so grateful for everything that's happened. You know, for my growth trajectory, for making the decisions that I did make to get myself in the situation that I am in, to grow the skills that I have been able to grow over these past few years, bro. I'm very grateful for all that. So it's hard for me to say that I would change anything because I don't think I would, man. I don't think I would. Yeah.
I mean, that's a great perspective too, right? Like we don't need to get stuck on the past. The past is the past. We cannot change it, right? So looking forward. But I do want to kind of touch on the past, right? Like you're speaking on gratitude. Do you have like one shining moment with Tyler, Ryan, and Todd where you're like, wow, that in that moment I was super proud and I'm super grateful. It fills my heart with joy anytime I think back on it.
Bro, I get really, really proud and happy anytime I see a student in MFM succeed. And succeed is very, like, everybody has their own definition of succeed. It's very subjective. But anytime I see somebody's life positively impacted by the work that I've helped create at MFM, and the trajectory of their life impacted, bro, I'm proud of that every time that happens.
Yeah.
So it's hard to think back of like one exact moment. Yeah.
I respect that. Well, if you guys are listening, what Jackson really said was he is super proud of me and everything that I've accomplished. And you guys all.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. You heard right, Trae.
I was just translating for everybody in case y'all missed that.
That's awesome.
If you never met the guys, right? Like, what would you be doing now? Like, how would your life have been different?
That's a good question, man. It'd be a lot different. That's for sure. That's for sure. It would be a lot different than. It'd be a lot different. I don't know, man. I don't know. When I started working with Tyler and Ryan, I was very young when I started working with them, and you know what I mean. Like a lot of life decisions hadn't been made when I started working with them. I'm sure we can all kind of relate to that in our early 20s, where we just kind of jump into a career or jump into a work thing where we're not really sure, but we know we got to do something. We know we got to keep the momentum going. We got to keep rolling somehow. That was the situation when I jumped in working with Tyler and Ryan. It's like I knew I wanted to be in real estate. That's pretty much all I knew that I wanted to do. So it's hard to answer that question, dude, of where would I be? I don't know. It's a really hard. Probably doing real estate in some other form. Yeah.
That's crazy. I feel you though. Like you were 24 when you started working with them, right?
Well, when I started working with Tyler for the first time, I was like 23, 22. when I started
Yeah.
working with him.
Real quick, guys, if you're enjoying the show and want to help us grow, share, shoot us a 5-star rating, and follow the show on Apple or Spotify. My goal is to continue to grow and get bigger and bigger guests on the show to reach more like-minded real estate investors and help everyone be more bold and build more wealth. Now, back to the show.
Yeah.
Dude, when I was 22, 23, I was living in Los Angeles. I had no idea what the hell I was doing. And well, I don't even remember what I was probably working some go nowhere job. So, dude, I relate to that. I'm actually kind of jealous. Jealous is the wrong word. Envious? No, that's the wrong word too. Whatever the right word is, right? Like you got people coming into this network who are like 18, 19, 20 years old and just have like this clear plan of life. And I'm like, wow, I wish I would have had that. Cause now that I'm old, your boy's up there, man. I got mad gray hair.
Well, bro, dude, I don't think anybody has their life planned at 18, 19, dude. You know what I mean? I still think there's so much to learn. So I kind of want to check you on that, my bro. Don't compare yourself to people. Don't compare yourself to people with their supposed life plans that they're coming in with.
You're right. You're okay. Check allowed. Okay. I will allow that. Right. But
thank you.
You know, you're welcome. At 22, 23, like I had no idea what the hell I was doing. You know what I'm saying? Like my mom, bless her heart, she worked extremely hard, right? But she was a hairdresser, right? And that ceiling was real, right? Couldn't see past the end of her street type thing. And you know, I'm now 35 and I can see what I want and I know that I have what it takes to get there. I just wish I realized that a lot earlier in life. So if you are 21, 22, 23, and you have an idea of what you want to do and how you're going to do it, good on you, man. You know, my kids.
I guess what I'm trying to say is good on you, but allow yourself grace to pivot through that too, because you learn a lot in your 20s. You know what I mean? I guess that's what I was really trying to get at. It's like how many people start their plans at the 19, 20, and that's actually the plans they end with.
It's very true. Very true.
You know what I mean? So that's what I was getting at.
And I don't, you know, let me pull out my little gratitude bucket. Okay. You know, my boys are healthy. I'm in a very happy relationship. I own a house. I'm about to buy a second house. You know, there's a lot of things that we have done right. I'm really trying to focus on gratitude a lot more. I have a whole gratitude journal. I'll have to share it with you someday.
I love that. That's awesome.
Sometimes you just, you know, you get down and what I've noticed about gratitude is it's really hard to find something to be happy about on the spot when you're not feeling happy. So I have a Google Drive and I just write down all the shit that I'm happy for. And then when I do get in these moods, right, boom, pull this up, start looking through it, and it just helps. It helps. So I love that you're so gracious, gratitudinous, whatever. Sure.
I get what you're saying.
What is the word? You are a gracious person? Is that how you say that? Gratitudinous, grateful. You're a grateful person.
Yeah.
I'm
grateful.
I need Grammarly, but like for when I talk, because I don't know what the fuck I'm saying.
Yeah, it'll be there soon.
Yeah, that Neuralink. Sign me up.
Correct you as you're speaking. Yeah.
It just like zaps me every time I say something dumb.
Sounds terrifying. That sounds like I'm getting zapped 24 hours a day. Yeah. I'm getting zapped.
Just imagine.
Say something dumb.
You miss a payment and then you like get ads all day just randomly. Like, yeah. It's our future, bro. It's our future. Jasper in our heads. All right, let me reframe. Let's go. All right. So, conflict resolution. I'm just curious, like, have you learned anything more about that? Because
what do you mean? What do you mean when you ask that?
Well, I work a W-2 job, right? And in that W-2 job, there is differences of personalities. And like you were talking about earlier, differences of opinions on the way or the direction a company should go. So with that comes a little bit of friction that would need some type of conflict resolution. I'm just curious if you've learned anything more about handling that.
Dude, I think it's just, I mean, I've learned a lot about that through these past few years. It's just speaking it when it's pressing to you. Speak your truth, you know what I mean, and set those boundaries when you feel boundaries need to be set. I don't think it's,
Yeah. I mean, boundaries. How do you know when it's time to set those boundaries?
When I think through experience, through trial and error. I think
Yeah.
a lot of times we set boundaries based on maybe not feeling respected or safe in a certain situation. I don't know. You know what I mean? I guess I'm just kind of just bullshitting here
Yeah.
with you for a second. It's like I think we put boundaries up when we notice that maybe boundaries haven't been respected. The nonverbal boundaries haven't been respected is kind of when the more solidified boundaries come in.
Non-verbal, like touching, like
Oh no,
you're not a you're not a hugger.
no, no, just through communication and things. I don't know. Yeah.
And I only ask because I'm a people pleaser, right?
Yeah.
And that it does me no good at work, honestly. People know that, and sometimes I get taken advantage of, and I struggle with putting up those guardrails because I want to serve others, even though I'm getting paid for it. I want to make people happy. I want to help people, even in my day job. So, yeah, bro. I'm gonna skip this one. It's funny. We're actually Tony Robbins. Do you prescribe to Tony Robbins methodologies? Do you
Not all of them.
prescribe to Tony Robbins? No. Have you ever been to
Some
one of
of
his
like
events?
I like some of his stuff for sure. But I
Yeah.
don't
Have you been
I
to
can't
one?
say. I've been
Go
virtual.
virtual. Okay.
I've done a
Okay.
virtual. I've done a virtual UPW. Yeah, what do you mean by subscribe? Tony Robbins has a
Prescribe.
lot of
Yeah, that's a bad way to say it. Well, how about this? Tony Robbins speaks on modeling yourself after somebody that you are looking up to, right? So in this next phase of life, right, is there anybody out there that you're modeling yourself after?
Oh, dude, I like that. I like that. That's a good question. Um not a single person. I don't think there's a single person I'm modeling myself after, but more of
Okay,
a lot
a
of
group.
there's just people that I look up to that I like aspects of them
Yeah.
that I wanna make my own for
Let's.
sure and making myself. But the way that I see that, let me kind of reframe that question, dude. Is like if
Okay.
there's a person that I'm looking up to try to be like, it's that ideal person that I see myself as. I envision my future self often, and I make decisions based on that person that I'm trying to become, if that makes sense. So I envision myself
Okay. And then
with
you're just using people.
these disciplines and things that I know that I don't have now that I'm working towards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are some of those disciplines?
Oh, dude, I think just, just those normal disciplines that everybody has
The things
that
that
we're all working on.
everybody,
You know
the
what I mean?
things that
Like
everybody needs to work on
there's
and could be better at.
there's things that, yeah, like I think we all have individual things that we could all get better at. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, bro.
And that's
Yeah,
kind of what
yeah.
I mean.
Well, bro, I mean, what's next? You were at MFCP, MFM. People know you for this one thing. What is next, and how are you
Yeah.
planning on rebranding yourself?
Yeah. Dude, good question. What's next is what's always been. I'm just going to continue being my best self and continue to grow into the best version of myself and continue to be, try to be present and grounded and available and open for for the great things that are to come in my life for sure. But the plans and things that I have made and that I'm moving towards is I'm going to continue down the real estate space
Oh
100%.
yeah,
Like at the
yeah,
beginning of
man.
this episode, I talked about how I've done fix and flip. I've done some multi-million-dollar renovations with some churches and some big commercial spaces. I've done the multifamily space, and now it's time for me, and I'm really excited to move into the boutique hotel space. So very, very looking very forward
Eee.
into learning more about the boutique hotel space, the company that me and my three co-partners started, Black Sail Capital. We're an acquisitions company looking to take down boutique hotel and event spaces and retreat spaces. So very
Yeah,
excited. We've been working on that for since the beginning of the year. We're moving forward on trying to close our first deal, and that's what we're doing. Yeah. And in
yeah,
conjunction with that, kind of you asked me kind of what's next is us four at Black Sail Capital. We're going to also be starting a podcast together. It's myself, Strat, and Nico Streetman and Will Musak. going to start a podcast together where we interview like-minded individuals and people that we look up to and that we inspire to be to help us grow and to push our mindsets, to push our physicals, just to push us as human beings. And we hope that like the people that listen to the podcast can kind of get the same thing from it that we plan to get from those conversations. So that's kind of what's next for me, Trae. Yeah, dude, I'm really excited to
I love it.
take the things that I've learned and put them to use for me and my companies. Yeah.
Yeah. Shout out to Nico, Strat, and Will. I mean, those are great partners. They all have such a great energy too, right? Like the vibes are immaculate, as the Utes would say. At least I think. Do they still say that? I don't know.
I mean, I'm not a youth, but I say it. The vibes are immaculate. Absolutely, dude. Those three individuals have broadened the horizon for me, dude, and they've really helped me see myself in a new light. And yeah, they're amazing individuals, man. So you say that their vibes are immaculate. Yeah, they are. They
really are.
Yeah.
They do. They make you want to be the best version of yourself that you can possibly be. And I think that is a great quality to have in somebody, because you are literally pulling the best out of everybody that you come in contact to, right? Like people say, surround yourself with billionaires and you'll end up a millionaire. Well, you can surround yourself with people that have the best energy ever, and you're going to have really good energy. And that's shit. If I lived in Hawaii, I would be at their house every day. Like they would be like, Trae, you got to go. Like, no, I'm soaking it all up, man. Give me these vibes.
I love how you put that, man. You like, what's the other thing they say? Your net worth is the average of the 5 people you surround yourself with. Yeah. So are your vibes. Your vibes are the same way that you surround yourself with, dude. And absolutely. I'm so grateful to be surrounded by them in every aspect of business, dude. It's very exciting. Very grateful for them, and very grateful for the future, and excited for sure.
Trying to squirrel my way in there, be a part of the collective, Well,
what do you mean? You don't need to squirrel your way in, dude. Your door's open for Trae Jacobs always, brother.
Well, I mean, say squirrel is the wrong word. Like, I don't know, cow, because I'm big, so like just bulldoze.
The pasture is large, brother. The pasture is large, dude. We're abundant. Come on.
The abundance. Like so much. Oh, so shit, much, bro.
Dude. No squirreling needed.
There's no squirrels here, unless you're talking about Nico, Strat, or Will, because they might. Me and you, we're the bulls. Let's go.
There we go. I like that.
Oh yeah, big body. Why hotels? Why boutique hotels?
Do we feel it's the next best? Dude, good question, bro. We all feel like it's the next best move that's going to kind of happen in the real estate industry. The shift that's going to happen. I don't know, Trae. I know you're a multifamily real estate investor, but the short-term rental industry it's getting shooken up, dude. There's so many new rules and regulations being put into place in these big cities that are locking down on the amount of short-term rentals you can have, so the amount of Airbnbs and things you can have. We see that continuing to happen, and not even continuing to happen, but even become more and more strict as time goes on. And in the markets where this has really been affected, you've noticed that the numbers have dropped dramatically for income on short-term rentals, but the hotel industry has stayed steady Eddie since the post-pandemic. It's like people are going back to hotels and using hotels again post-pandemic. And with some of the things that we learned through the pandemic, we can apply some of those things to these boutique hotels to add their value and ease both owner bandwidth and like the people that are staying have a much more easier experience.
I mean, people are definitely moving away from the fees, man. The fees on Airbnb, they're crazy right now.
With hotels and things like that, man, you can have your own. Yeah, you can figure out. You can set up systems to move around those types of fees and be able to maximize on them.
I like the boutique space, right? Like earlier I asked like who you're modeling yourself after. And one of the people that I am definitely modeling myself after is Rich Summers. I think what he's built in terms of the podcast and his little business has been just great. My man is living his best life. And I like that. So, modeling myself after him, but I know he does the boutique space. Are you guys joining his mastermind?
We're thinking about it.
Yeah.
I know we plan as a team to go out there and go to some of his yacht meetups this summer and network with him and continue to meet with him. Yeah, we definitely plan on making efforts to become close with Rich. Yeah. Nico and Will have a great relationship, and Strat have a great relationship with Rich. I know him through them. Yeah, dude, yeah. Rich, to come back to that question, if there's somebody I am modeling myself off of in a business sense, on the boutique hotel space, he is definitely one of those people. Him and Bethany LaFlamme. I know you know Bethany. I don't know. Have you had Bethany on as a guest? I think you did.
Not yet. No, we met. We talked at Ryan's thing. Yeah. Oh, dog. Her resume.
She's amazing. So a model dude, those two I really, really look up to. And yeah, dude, plan on it's on my dream board to partner, do deals, and become closer with those two as well, for sure.
Well, listen, you have to live with absolute certainty. So me personally, I know for an absolute fact that you are going to work with those two people very soon.
That. Thank you, sir.
Soon is subjective, right? But
yeah, I like that. I like that clarification. Yes, I like that. Yes.
Yeah. So let me just put that out there for you.
I appreciate that,
dude, let me know when you guys go out for the yacht party, because I'll fly in too. Because I want to attend some of those events. I'm not gonna lie, and if I can find a babysitter, I'll bring April too. I know Nico wants to meet April, and she'll enjoy getting out to San Diego and everything. So
yeah, dude, make it a whole thing. We'll all meet up. I would love that, dude. Yeah, we'll keep it. We'll chat more off air for sure.
Absolutely. Details. Awesome, man. Well, let's wrap this up. Who should reach out to you, and how should they reach out to you?
Dude, anybody can reach out. If anybody has questions about my separation with MFM and MFCP, please feel free to reach out to me. My phone number is 435-705-9616. For real, phone is wide open. Feel free to call me. But you can also get in contact with me on Instagram at Jackie Moon is my Instagram handle. I'm sure you can add that to the bio for us. Yeah, Trae.
Absolutely. All that information. Man, you're
so if you have any questions regarding yeah, dude, throw my phone number in there too. I don't care.
Oh, yeah.
If you have any questions regarding that and what I'm doing next in my career, please feel free to call me. I would love to chat with you, keep connections, keep relationships. I know I've talked to a bunch of individuals already, but if there's anybody that wants to chat, feel free to call me.
Awesome, bro. Awesome. Hey, do me a favor, man. Why don't you take us out? Mr. Podcast King, if you could.
Well, I got to take us out.
Yeah, man, let's do it.
This has been the Bolder Than Most podcast with Trae Jacobs featuring Jackson Campbell, and Jackson Campbell has had an absolute pleasure being on the podcast with Trae, and wants to thank him for taking the time and allowing me to jump on and kind of share what's going on with me and my next steps in my life. So Trae, I really just want to thank you, man, for jumping on.
Dude.
And that has been that's been the Bolder Than Most podcast. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Awesome. Peace. Yeah. I'm sorry. I was like, I had to, bro. I don't know. It's just felt like the right thing to do. That was good, bro.
On the spot. Okay.
Dude.